If you've been keeping an eye on the markets lately, you know what I'm talking about with silver. It's been an absolute roller coaster. One minute, it's smashing records, hitting these historic highs. And the next, a massive, breathtaking drop. So what on earth is driving all this chaos? Is this whole rally over? Let's get into it.
And yeah, that's really the big question, isn't it? Is this rally completely over? Was that huge surge just a classic bubble that's finally popped? Or is this just a correction, a healthy little pause before the next leg up? To really figure that out, we've got to rewind a bit and look at how this whole thing played out in two really distinct phases.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Just a little while ago, silver hit a price that was honestly historic. We're talking 94,000 rupees a kilogram. The momentum felt completely unstoppable. You could just feel the excitement in the market. It was electric. It really felt like there was no ceiling, like it would just keep going up.
And then, bam, this happened. A huge, staggering drop of 9,000 rupees, just like that. A move that pretty much wiped out all the recent gains and just sent this shockwave of what just happened through the market. So what could possibly trigger such a crazy reversal? Well, to get it, we really need to pull apart the two sides of the story, the solid fundamental reason for the rally, and then the speculative frenzy that kind of hijacked it.
All right, first things first. It is so important to get this. This rally did not just come out of nowhere. It wasn't built on, just pure hype and speculation, at least not at the beginning. There was a very real, very solid reason why prices were going up.
You see, at its core, the start of this whole thing was just simple economics. For years, a real imbalance has been building up in the silver market, and prices were, frankly, just starting to catch up to that reality.
And that imbalance has a name. It's what we call a structural supply deficit. Now, this isn't some short-term thing, not just a blip on the radar. It means that year after year, the world is demanding more silver than we can actually mine or recycle. This fundamental tightness, that was the solid ground, the bedrock that this whole rally was built on.
And this is where silver's story gets really different from its famous cousin, gold. Most gold just sits in a vault somewhere, but silver, over half of it actually gets used up. It's consumed by industry. It's a totally critical ingredient in the technology that, powers our entire modern world.
Just think about the biggest things happening in technology right now. The whole green energy revolution, our world becoming more and more digital, all of it runs on silver. Every single solar panel, every electric vehicle, tons of our electronics, they all need it. So this isn't some temporary spike in demand. This is a massive structural trend that's only going to get bigger.
Okay, so the stage was set perfectly, right? You've got these super strong fundamentals. But then, something shifted. As the prices started to go up and then go up faster and faster, the whole reason for the rally started to change. The conversation wasn't about supply and demand anymore. It became all about psychology.
And this quote really just nails that turning point. People weren't buying because supply was tight anymore. They were buying because the price was going up every single day. The whole motivation changed. It wasn't about the real value of silver, it was just about the price chart going straight up. That's right, the fear of missing out, FOMO, had taken over the driver's seat.
And that's when you get this crazy, powerful feedback loop going. The sharp price rise gets people excited, right? That pulls in more and more traders. Their buying, of course, pushes the price even higher, which makes everyone feel smart and creates this intense FOMO for anyone still watching from the sidelines. And at that point, the why, it just doesn't matter anymore. All that matters is that the price is going up.
So you're probably thinking, if the momentum was that strong, what on earth caused the floor to just collapse? Well, it's kind of ironic. The same psychological fuel that launches the rocket is the same stuff that can make it blow up on the launch pad. That 9,000 rupee drop, it wasn't just a number on a screen, it was a psychological break. When a market is running on nothing but belief and FOMO, that first big, sharp drop is what shatters the illusion. It's the moment everyone realizes, oh wait, this isn't a one-way street.
It reminded everybody of the oldest lesson in the book, one that's so easy to forget when you're caught up in the hype. Prices don't just go up forever. It's that simple. And that sudden drop forced a massive reality check, and you saw a huge wave of people rushing to take their profits off the table.
And here's the thing about silver. That reality check is always way more intense than it is for gold. The silver market is just smaller, it's less liquid. Think of it like this. Gold is a giant cargo ship, and silver is a little speedboat. When a big wave hits, which one is going to get tossed around more, the speedboat
every time. The moves are just sharper, up and down. Extreme volatility is just part of silver's DNA.
Okay, so after all that drama, the big question is, where do we go from here? And really, the path forward is this fascinating tug of war. On one side, you have those strong, long-term fundamentals we talked about, and on the other, you have all these new short-term pressures that these high prices have created.
And this is really the central battle for silver now. The long-term story, the supply deficit, the massive industrial demand, that's a really strong foundation supporting the price. But in the short term, these high prices create their own problems. Industries start looking for cheaper alternatives. High prices also make it worthwhile to recycle more old silver, which adds to the supply. It's a classic tug of war, really. Long-term story versus short-term pressures.
Which brings us right back to our big question. Is the rally over? This huge drop might not be the final nail in the coffin, especially with those strong fundamentals still there. But it is absolutely a major warning shot. It's a reminder that in the wild world of silver, assuming prices will only go one way, well, that can be a really dangerous game. So what do you think is next?